Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you found your way here today, I just want to invite you to do one thing before we even start. Just take a deep breath right now. Let your shoulders drop. This is a totally safe, completely pressure-free space. We are definitely not here to tell you to, hustle harder or fix your entire life by tomorrow morning. If you're feeling exhausted, burned out, or just carrying this heavy weight that you can't quite explain, you are exactly where you need to be. So let's dive into this profoundly gentle explainer. We're looking at a deeply personal story about mental health today, and really focusing on the quiet, incredibly unglamorous reality of recovery. So the story we're looking at today starts with a really specific memory. There was this night, not even that long ago, when the author of the story just sat on the floor of his room. He was just staring at nothing, heavy, empty, done. He wasn't plotting anything dramatic, actually. He wasn't even crying. He literally just could not imagine what tomorrow would feel like. In that moment, the future was basically just a blank, giant, heavy wall. He didn't text anyone that night. He just sat there until the feeling passed enough for him to, crawl into bed. But that exact moment on the floor, that became the very quiet, very real beginning of his entire journey. Now, real quick before we go any further, just a really important note. While this explainer breaks down a very real narrative about mental health, it is just that, a personal story. If you're in crisis right now, or if you're just really struggling to stay afloat, please reach out to a licensed professional or a crisis helpline in your area. Seeking professional help is an act of absolute incredible strength, and there are people out there ready to listen to you right now. All right, let's get into it. Section 1, When Positivity Doesn't Work. The Limits of Mindset. For a really long time, he basically tried to just think his way out of the darkness. You know the drill, right? He watched all those videos that tell you to just get up and grind, to manifest a better mindset, to just, choose joy. And guess what? None of it worked. Zero. Because dealing with depression, it's not a mindset problem. It absolutely does not respond to sheer willpower. Being told to just stay positive when you're clinically depressed feels exactly like being told to swim harder while a literal boulder is actively holding you underwater. It's impossible. And frankly, it just makes you feel way worse for failing at it. Moving on to Section 2, Treating the Mind Seriously. Asking for help. We really hold ourselves to this devastating double standard. Think about it. If you have a broken bone, you don't use sheer willpower to heal it, right? And you definitely don't feel a deep sense of shame walking into a doctor's office. But when it comes to healing the mind, wow. We somehow convince ourselves that we're fundamentally broken beyond repair if we can't just fix it ourselves, and we completely drown in shame. His turning point was realizing, wait a minute, his mind deserved the exact same seriousness, the exact same care, and the exact same lack of shame as a broken arm. Reaching out for help wasn't some tragic last resort. It was actually the first real step forward. Section 3, Small Steps Build Momentum. Finding the Wins. So, what did his recovery actually look like? Well, it was incredibly small, like almost embarrassingly small. Some mornings, his entire overarching goal for the whole day was simply getting out of bed. Other days, it was just taking a shower, or literally forcing himself to eat a single meal, or even just walking over to the window and opening the blinds to let a tiny bit of light in. And I really want to validate this for you right now. If you are struggling, accomplishing these tiny microtasks is a massive victory. On those truly dark days, doing just one of these things is the absolute complete win for the entire day. At first, it felt like it wasn't enough for him, like he should be healing faster. But he kept doing them anyway. Okay, let's break down how this actually builds, because this process acts as a literal roadmap out of the dark. Step 1 is that embarrassingly small task we just talked about. But here's the absolute magic of it. Step 2 is proof. Doing that tiny task becomes proof to a mind that's convinced it can't do anything right that, hey, you can still do something. And when that's repeated enough times, that proof builds into Step 3, momentum. Then that momentum naturally solidifies into Step 4, routine. And eventually, almost without him even noticing, that little routine built a foundation for Step 5, hope. But not a fake, toxic positivity hope, a real version of hope he could actually stand on. Section 4, Breaking the Heavy Silence, Reaching Outward. Here's something that really surprised him in his recovery. Reaching outward became incredibly healing. Now, we aren't talking about ignoring his own pain to go play savior and fix everyone else, because that is a really dangerous trap. It's more about small, super simple actions. Just checking in on a friend, listening to someone else without immediately trying to fix their problems for them. Showing up for someone while he was still, very much figuring himself out. Being of service to others reminded him of this absolutely critical truth. His pain did not disqualify him from being valuable. In fact, his struggles actually made him more empathetic and way more capable of truly showing up for the people around him. For the longest time, he carried his struggle around like this toxic secret. He was just terrified of being seen as weak or being too much for people. And honestly, that silence was heavier than the depression itself. But then he finally said these 3 words out loud: "I'm not okay." Now, saying those words didn't magically fix everything instantly, obviously, but it absolutely chipped away at the massive isolating wall he had built around himself. And the really beautiful part, by admitting his own secret, he basically gave the people close to him permission to be completely honest about their struggles too. Which brings us to section 5, redefining what success means, finding a new full potential. People always used to talk to him about reaching his full potential, as if it were this big finish line made of traditional success, massive achievement, or flawless perfection. But in the absolute depths of his depression, his full potential looked completely different. Some days, his absolute maximum, 100% full potential was simply this: he didn't give up that day. He stayed. And that wasn't a small thing. To him, in the middle of that darkness, that was the whole thing. I actually want to pause the story for a second here. I want to speak directly to you. Are you on your own version of that floor right now? Are you staring at a wall, just feeling heavy, empty, and done? Are you barely holding on? Or maybe you're somewhere in between, just trying to force yourself to open the blinds today. Look, if you're on that floor, I want you to really, really let this sink in. You don't have to have it figured out today. Whatever you are carrying, it was never, ever meant to be carried alone. Recovery might feel entirely impossible right now, I get that. But it is always, always possible. If all you can do today is just exist, just breathe in and out, that counts. That is absolutely enough. If this explainer reached you in any way today, please know that you are absolutely not alone in this. I urge you, if you're struggling, reach out to a professional or even just someone you trust. It's the strongest, bravest thing you could possibly do. Your presence here matters. Thank you for staying. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. If the absolute smallest step you can take today is a massive victory, what tiny, quiet win are you going to allow yourself to claim right now? Think about it. We'll see you in the next one.